Everyone, welcome to our presentation. Our presentation will be on Jacinda Ardern as our leader, and our presentation will be by Alyssa Pagliuca, Blue, Bateman-Williamson, Julian Stark, Laifu, Lou, and myself. Thank you. So I'm just going to start by introducing and telling you a little bit about Jacinda Ardern. Jacinda Ardern is currently New Zealand's 40th Prime Minister, and she is currently the youngest female head of government, and has been shown lots of love by the New Zealand people for her leadership shown in times of crisis. She was born in Hamilton, New Zealand in 1980 and was raised in a small town called Morrinsville. Her first involvement in Parliament came in her mid-20s when she was involved with the Labour Party, and she would then later go on to be elected into New Zealand's Parliament in 2008. She has managed to hold various roles within Parliament, which include serving as a Minister of Youth, and in 2017, she was the head of the Labour Party and eventually led them to win the national election. Ardern has shown throughout her career in power that she shows compassion and decisiveness when making crisis decisions, and she will continue to be an influential voice and fight strongly for issues she believes in, such as climate change, gender equality, and other social justice issues.
The analysis of Jacinda Ardern will evaluate her relationship of influence using authentic leadership theory. This is a type of management style in which people act in a real, genuine, and sincere way that is true to who they are as individuals. Using this, Ms. Ardern's leadership can be evaluated in terms of interactionist perspectives based on her notion of self. After considering her own understanding of leaderships, the main principles she values will allow us to evaluate her decisions. Through research, her main values when leading include open communication, empathy, and commitment. This analysis of Ms. Ardern will determine if she continuously leads following her notion of self, accomplishing authentic leadership theory.
Understanding the perspectives of different groups is key to understanding how Ardern's leadership style is persuaded and how effective it is. Considering the demographic factors that are relevant to analyze, such as age, gender, race, ethnicity, political affiliation, and social status, is crucial. For example, Jacinda Ardern is a female leader in a predominantly male-dominated field. Jacinda Ardern's impending recognizing sadness and sympathies with New Zealand. According to the reporters, many people expressed their approval and praise from Prime Minister's leadership approach.
Based on the theory at hand, Jacinda Ardern has replicated positive open communication, empathy, and commitment as previously stated within her role as a prominent leader. Furthermore, Jacinda voices over time a clear message with the correct use of authority, believability, and humanity in her role as a leader. This is a critical skill to have as an individual, and one that can be used to an individual's advantage towards other politicians and influential people globally. A scenario where Jacinda Ardern has shown being an authentic leader is on the 21st of April 2023, when she initiated a new policy to provide free school lunches at all primary schools. This initiative has shown who she is as an individual and the authenticity of her actions in always helping others and putting her citizens first. Further to this, the effect that Jacinda's views had on people when initiating this new policy was a positive one on families due to the thinking about children who are in a disadvantaged position and how real she was in the new initiative. Moreover, another scenario where Jacinda Ardern has shown her authenticity was through her local visits around the community due to the cyclone and flooding. This shows how authentic she is as a person and how much she really cares about her own people, even when out of Parliament and not being Prime Minister. Furthermore, it shows her real qualities as a person where she wears her heart on her sleeve and is a kind and sensitive individual at times. Jacinda's followers responded in a positive manner to her visit, with some stating, "You have really shown that you care so much about your neighbours in New Zealand. Such amazing leadership. We love you." The feedback is very positive and goes to show how influential she is as an individual and how authentic she is as well. Overall, these qualities and comments shown about Ardern's personality as a leader and previously Prime Minister have shown who she is as an individual and how real she is as an individual and does not need to wear a mask when in public and can be a different person.
Based on this theory, it is not appropriate to categorize a leader's actions as mistakes, and mistakes imply that the leader is not aesthetic. In her wide to brief speech, he reflected on near 5 years as Prime Minister. Some critics argue that she had done not enough to address certain issues, such as health affordability, inequality, and child poverty. Others criticize her for not taking strong action on climate change or for not doing enough to support small business during COVID-19 pandemic. There are similar things that happened recently. Jacinda Ardern decided to keep her information about her relationship with Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, a secret. The consequences of wearing this Christmas as potential mistakes from an aesthetic leadership theory perspective include decline in interest and confidence in Jacinda Ardern, a decrease in follower motivation and encouragement, and the negative impact on the well-being of the population affected by these issues.
Jacinda Ardern's authenticity as an individual was shown in many ways on camera and off camera. Further to this, there have been defining moments that has defined her authentic leadership style and traits that has defined her as a person, which according to Chen 2023 are her empathy, self-awareness, and deft handling of major world issues, which shows everyone that an influential leader can still be compassionate and kind. All of these traits have one thing in common when it comes to Jacinda Ardern, which is the people who she is representing and who she wants to do it for, which in the end shows her authenticity as an individual and leader. Miss Ardern demonstrates her understanding of self through actions taken to better the community. Since she was a child, she felt deep compassion for the children without shoes on their feet or anything to eat for lunch. Since resigning from politics, she has continued to be a decisive force within her local area, making appearances at local schools, volunteering at the Kindness Collective Community Hub, and most recently joining Harvard University as an Angelopolis Global Political Leaders Fellow, which in response to the university's assistance with the Churchill's core work. Understanding impactful, fundamental moments in her childhood and what she does in her free time for the community allows us to conclude that Miss Ardern is motivated by creating a difference that aligns within her values.
Jacinda Ardern has recently made the decision to resign as the Prime Minister of New Zealand. Throughout her time in power, she was known for utilising authentic leadership due to her down-to-earth nature and genuine concern for the people of New Zealand. Over the past 6 weeks, Jacinda has further elaborated on why she made the decision to step down from her position, and one of the main reasons being that she no longer has enough left in the tank. Considering the situations that Jacinda was presented with whilst in power, it's not surprising that she made the decision to step down. She was forced to deal with a number of different crisis situations that most leaders would never see during their time in power. One of the main events being the Christchurch massacre in 2019. This was ultimately the catalyst of the decision she has now made to step down, as the role she will be undertaking specialises in greater protection from online terrorism and extremist content. The events of the Christchurch massacre clearly highlight to Jacinda the desperate need for an increase in protection from extremism, and ultimately displays why she believes that she would now be better suited to a role where she can work more towards preventing this specifically. Jacinda's decisions relate strongly to the 5 key characteristics of an authentic leader. Although her experience in the role of PM, she has now realised that her sense of purpose is trying to resolve the online terrorist and extremist epidemic, which her new role heavily focuses on. Her distinct values and genuine heart can be utilised in her newly created role in order to achieve her long-term goals of preventing extremism.
Jacinda Ardern is an effective leader, and she's had so many accomplishments over the past few months. The theory suggests that Jacinda Ardern has room to grow as a leader in a few specific areas during the past 7 weeks. Enhanced transparency, is while Ardern administration team has generally been open and honest in its COVID-19 response and other policy endeavours, there may be some possibilities to do so even more. The government should, for instance, give more specific information on how it makes choices along with the data, information necessary to track progress made in implementing and achieving certain goals, and advice from experts that is used to do so. More focused on employee development, authentic leaders put an emphasis on their team members' growth and making sure that they have the tools and encouragement that they need to advance and be successful. Ardern can put more emphasis on her team members' growth by giving them chances to learn new skills and taking on new challenges. Increased stakeholder engagement. Authentic leaders place a top priority on stakeholder engagement, enlisting the advice and opinions of a variety of stakeholders to help them make well-informed decisions. To make sure her policies take into account the needs and interests of a wide spectrum of people, Ardern might perhaps work more closely with stakeholders outside of her administration, such as corporate executives, community organisations, and advocacy groups. The last one was stronger ethical focus. Ethical leaders place great emphasis on ethics and making sure that their organisation's actions and those of their leaders reflect their core values and guiding principles. In developing her policies and making decisions, Ardern could pay more attention to the ethical problems, such as social justice and environmental sustainability. Through the lens of authentic leadership theory, Jacinda Ardern's leadership is demonstrated to be authentic and trustworthy. Her open lines of communication, empathy, and determination have produced beneficial results, such as winning her followers' trust, engagement, and their support. Although she has demonstrated leadership excellence, she still has more in several areas, such as increasing transparency, emphasizing staff development, actively involving stakeholders, and maintaining ethical considerations. Her actions have been influenced by the environment in which she operates in, especially dealing with tragedies like the Christchurch massacre, COVID-19, and all past previous events that's been included in this presentation. With potential for improvement in some areas, Ardern's honest leadership style has overall had a significantly good influence.